Students, this is chapter number 4, plant nutrition. In our previous lesson, I told you about certain factors that affect the rate of photosynthesis. Among them was temperature and light intensity, carbon dioxide concentration, and water availability. In detail, in today's lesson, we will see the effect of light and carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of photosynthesis, and then we will see the absorption and action spectrum, what they tell us about. Then we will see the fate of glucose, that what happens to glucose which is formed during photosynthesis. Then we will see the importance or significance of photosynthesis. Then we will see the external structure of the leaf. Let's discuss the light first, what it has to do with the photosynthesis rate. Increasing the light intensity increases the rate of photosynthesis as chlorophyll absorbs more light energy. After reaching a maximum value, the rate becomes constant even if the light intensity is increased further. Above this point, some other limiting factor would be required to increase the rate of photosynthesis, for instance, temperature, carbon dioxide concentration, and water. So what this theory tells you is explained in this graph. If you see, I have taken light intensity on x-axis and rate of photosynthesis on y-axis. So as I am increasing the light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis is increasing. It is increasing till a point after which the rate of photosynthesis became constant. It is because of the fact that after this point, light intensity has nothing to do with rate of photosynthesis now. Now there would be more limiting factor here, there would be more requirements here which would be needed to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Light had to play its role till this point, and after which, no matter how much light you increase, the rate of photosynthesis will remain constant. It will not increase because of the fact that there would be other factors needed by the plants to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Then we have carbon dioxide concentration. It also affects the rate of photosynthesis, as you can see in the graph. As we are increasing the the concentration of carbon dioxide, the rate of photosynthesis is increasing, but again it is becoming constant after a certain period of time. After a point, it became constant. The normal concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is about 0.03%. Under experimental condition, you can increase this concentration, but normally in the environment, you cannot increase the concentration from 0.03 to 0.04, because after that point, you may call the air polluted and it would affect the health of people or humans or animals. For plants, carbon dioxide is a reactant and is used in photosynthesis. So as you would increase the carbon dioxide concentration, the rate of photosynthesis may increase, but after one point you are unable to increase carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere because it is normally 0.03%. So for photosynthesis, actually the limiting factor is the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, which cannot be increased after a certain period point, after a certain concentration, because beyond this concentration 0.03 to 0.04, the concentration may be harmful to the living beings, though they might be useful for plants because they can increase their photosynthesis rate, but it would be harmful for the animals. This is the summary of the factors that affect the rate of photosynthesis. We have light, carbon dioxide, and temperature. Light, I told you in today's lesson, and so I explained carbon dioxide concentration. Both the graphs are similar. Both are showing you that the rate of photosynthesis increases and gets flattened or gets constant after a certain period of point or time. On the other hand, if you look on the temperature graph, it is increasing and decreasing. Increasing because of the higher molecular kinetic energy of the molecules, while it is decreasing, like I told you in the previous lesson, that whenever you would increase the temperature, the enzyme involved in photosynthesis may denature. and also the excessive transpiration in the plants would lead to loss of turgidity of guard cell, leading to closure of stomata. When stomata would be closed, there would be no entry of carbon dioxide, hence no or reduced photosynthesis will occur. Now let's see what wavelength of light are used in photosynthesis. You may know that the simple white light or the light coming from the sun comprises of 7 colors. These colors are given here, the spectrum of the color. And if you may know that each color or each light has its own energy, which is stated as wavelength. So we now have to see whether all the wavelengths of the lights are absorbed by the plants during photosynthesis, or all the light is used or not, or certain light is used. Then in the action spectrum we will see that at what light the rate of photosynthesis is maximum. I'm repeating again, absorption spectrum will tell you which light is absorbed the most, which wavelength is absorbed the most by the plants during photosynthesis, while in action spectrum we'll get to know that when the rate of photosynthesis is maximum by absorbing which kind of wavelengths. If you can see the graph for absorption spectrum, you can see that the peaks are forming in blue and red area. Wherever there is blue color, the peaks are observed. Here again in the red zone you can see that the peaks are being formed. So the maximum wavelengths which are absorbed are blue and red light. On the other hand, if you see action spectrum, you can see that I have taken rate of photosynthesis on y-axis and the wavelength of light are taken at x-axis. Which two points are showing you the peaks? It is the color which is indicated here by the blue color and the red color. You can see the peaks being formed here. It means that the rate of photosynthesis was maximum when the plant was absorbing blue color and red color wavelength. So now if I combine these two graphs, I see that both the peaks are coming at red and blue color. This is the graph for both absorption and action spectrum, and if you see, the peaks are being formed in blue area and in red area. What does it show us? That the maximum wavelength which is absorbed by the plant is blue and red, and these are the very points where the rate of photosynthesis is also maximum. Now let's see the fate of glucose. Fate of glucose means that what would happen to glucose which is being formed in the plants, what uses can be made. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water is used, and chlorophyll would absorb the light and convert it into chemical energy, leading to the formation of glucose. What happens to glucose? It can be used for respiration. You know what respiration is. It is the breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen in order to release energy in the form of ATP. This glucose is also used to form the cell wall, cellulose. Cellulose is also made up of glucose. What else can be done with the glucose? It can be converted into sucrose or into starch in leaves. So now we got to know that glucose can be convertible, can be converted to sucrose and also into starch. Excess glucose is converted into sucrose and is transported to storage organs such as starch or in other forms. In daylight, excess glucose is converted into starch for temporary storage in the leaf. So whenever plant has excess glucose, it will convert it into sucrose or into starch. When sucrose is formed, the sucrose would be transported to different storage organs. What are the storage organs of plants? It can be any fruit, it can be any vegetable, it can be any edible part, or it can be the leaves where the starch is stored. It can be seeds, it can be flower, it can be growing bud where the stored food can be utilized. Then Glucose can be used to form amino acids and protein. Glucose reacts with nitrates to form amino acid in the leaf. If you remember that nitrates are absorbed by the root hair cell by active transport. This nitrate will combine with glucose to form amino acid. These amino acid would combine to form protein. This protein can be used to form new protoplasm in this leaf. If you remember chapter number 1, protoplasm means cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. It means new cells can be formed if protein is present in the plant. Excess amino acid are transported away for synthesis of new protoplasm or for storage as proteins. So plant can store protein as well. If you know that pulses, grains, they may contain a certain content, a certain percentage of protein in them. So how proteins are actually formed in the plant? The glucose which is formed by photosynthesis reacts with the nitrate ions to form amino acid. Amino acid combine to form proteins. Then glucose can also be used to form fats for storage, for respiration and for formation of new protoplasm. Fats can be stored in plants. If you know that fats in the plants is stored as oil, like sunflower oil, olive oil, all these are plant-based fats. They can be used for cellular respiration as well and can be used to make newer cells or newer protoplasm. Now let's see the significance of photosynthesis or importance of photosynthesis. It's very easy. You know that the plants are able to take up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they give off oxygen. By doing so, they are cleaning the atmosphere. So they take up carbon dioxide which is released by respiration by both animals and humans. This carbon dioxide is used in photosynthesis and oxygen is liberated, which is used by us for inhalation or inspiration or breathing. Light energy from the sun is converted to chemical energy, which is stored as carbohydrate in plants, which when fed by animals become their source of energy. So we know there are certain animals called herbivores which are directly dependent upon plants for their feeding requirements. So this light energy which was taken from the sunlight is converted by chlorophyll into chemical energy. This chemical energy is stored in the form of material in the plants such as glucose, sucrose and many other forms, starch also. These plants when fed by animals would become source of energy for them. In addition to these, the wood or the plants when under high pressure and temperature become fossil fuels. They can be used for energy sources such as coal, natural gas and petroleum. Now let's see the external features of the leaf. If you can see, it's a common general structure of a leaf. The broader part is called lamina or leaf blade. The whole broad part of the leaf is called lamina. The central bigger vein is called midrib, while the other veins are smaller in size and together are called venation. This is the petiole or leaf stalk which is connecting the leaf with the main stem. Now what is the benefit of having this structure? If you can see that the leaves are thin in structure, they are broad in their surface area. When leaves are thin, they provide short distance for diffusion of gases and allows light to penetrate easily. So when the leaves are thin in structure, it means that oxygen can come out easily and carbon dioxide can go into the leaf easily. They will have to face little hindrance or obstruction since they are thin, so the gases can diffuse in and out very easily. The leaf structure is also very broad and flat, increasing the surface area for more light absorption. And what do these veins contain? These veins contain phloem and xylem. Xylem is something that we have read in chapter 1. These are the hollow continuous tubes that are responsible for transport of water and mineral salts, while phloem is another tube system in the plants which is responsible for the transport of manufactured food. Manufactured food include amino acid and sucrose. So the veins in the leaf contains both xylem and phloem.